Neuvillette's the new Hydro Premier Catalyst damage dealer that can be used in a large majority of teams. Whether it's a fireworks team or some sort of hyper bloom or bloom team, he is going to find a spot there. And all of this is thanks to his very powerful special charge attack, Equitable Judgment. As you can see, you're going to be able to form a circle, a seal over time, and then unleash a torrent for up to 3 seconds of insane hydro damage. This is going to drain your HP and boost its own damage in several ways, which we'll get to with his Ascension passive. But one great thing to know about this is even though it has a very slow charge time, you can reduce the time that you need to charge it from 4 seconds to almost instantaneously by absorbing the hydro droplets that are formed by both his elemental skill as well as his elemental burst. His elemental skill is going to drop 3 of these droplets for you, and his elemental burst is going to drop 6 of these. In total, you can make 9 between a single skill and a single burst. And this is his core gameplay mechanic, forming source water droplets between his skill and his burst, and then absorbing them with the charge attack to form that seal as quickly as possible. These source water droplets stay in the field for a significant amount of time, about 15 seconds of duration before they disappear, so you have a lot of time to swap back and forth between Neuvillette and your support characters. In general, every rotation for Neuvillette is looking to use up to 4 charge attacks. You don't have to use them back to back though, because like we just said, these source water droplets will remain on field for a significant duration of time. You can do 2 charge attacks off of your elemental burst and then use your skill, swap into your support characters, activate something like Fischl's Oz, use a character like Sucrose Kazuha to swirl the hydro related reactions on your enemies, drop something like Yao Yao, or maybe even take pictures with Nahida, and then swap back in for another 2 charged attacks. There are a variety of combos you can use with Neuvillette, but just be trying to aim for at least 3 to 4 charge attacks in that 12 to 15 second rotation. Regardless of which team you're going to have him in, his best artifact set is actually 4-piece of Hunter. The 2-piece is going to give you charge attack damage plus 15%, and the 4-piece is going to give you a very substantial amount of crit rate. It is almost always going to be 36% for the most of your rotation, as Neuvillette is draining his HP and healing it constantly with his seal in Equitable Judgment charge attack and restoring them with the source water droplets. If you don't have 4-piece Hunter, you can use something like 4-piece Heart of Depths, or even mix something like the Hunter as well as the Heart of Depth set. You could also use something like the Retracing Bolide set, but only if you have a very powerful shielder in your party. When it comes to main stats and substats for Neuvillette, main stat for the Sands is going to be HP. For the Goblet, you want to use a hydro damage % bonus goblet, but you can also use an HP % bonus goblet if you have much better substat rolls on that goblet. For the circlet, you're going to want to aim for a crit rate or a crit damage circlet, but you could also try to get an HP circlet if you don't have any crit or crit damage circlets with very good substat rolls. However, do try to avoid using both an HP Sands, an HP Goblet, and an HP Circlet all at the same time. But the most important stat for Neuvillette, so you can have that perfect rotation, is actually energy recharge, and this is going to vary based on the weapon you use as well as the party you have him in. And this will vary to be anywhere from 100% energy recharge at base all the way up to 160% energy recharge. If you're using his signature weapon, the Eternal Flow, and you're using a double electro team with Fischl, you can get away with 100 to 110% energy recharge. A single Fischl solo electro team, anywhere between 100 and 120%. Other compositions can use up to 130% of your energy recharge, especially if you're not using a double electro team or a team that is not using Fischl. If you're using any characters in your party that are having Favonius weapons and having them proc every once in a while, you can reduce the amount of energy recharge you need in your teams by about 10 to 20% for each Favonius weapon. Our substat priority is going to prioritize that energy recharge requirement over everything, 20 to 30% to be safe if you don't know what team you're going to be putting Neuvillette in yet. Afterwards, you have crit/crit damage is equal to HP and then flat HP at the end. Energy recharge really is just that important, so make sure that you kind of know what you're doing there, and if you aren't really sure what you should do, aim for the higher end of the energy recharge requirements. Now, when we get into weapons, we have 4 big ones to really talk about. His best one by far is his signature weapon, Tomb of the Eternal Flow, as this is not going to increase his own HP, it's also going to help fulfill that energy requirement need. And then on top of that, also buff up your charge attack damage. If you don't have access to that or you don't want to pull for it, but you do buy the battle pass, the sacrificial jade is quite great. It's going to give you crit rate and HP %, and even at R1 it is an exceptionally powerful weapon, beating out basically everything outside of his signature. But it's okay if you don't have the battle pass weapon, because there's a crafted one that's actually really good. The prototype Amber is going to do a couple of things for you. It does give you health %, which is going to boost up your damage a little bit. But if you are going to be using the prototype Amber, it's going to give you energy regen, so you can drop down that energy recharge requirement that you need from your Neuvillette, more so down to nearly 100 to 105% energy recharge, almost regardless of which team members you're putting in your Neuvillette party. And that's really why the Amber is so strong. You're able to drop all of the energy recharge out of what we just talked about in our artifact substat slots and get more crit chance, crit damage, and health %. So if you're not able to find any energy recharge on your artifacts, go ahead and use the prototype Amber instead. Now, when it comes to teams for Neuvillette, there's a ton of things that you can go ahead and take inspiration from. Go ahead and look at a ton of different child teams: Child Taser, Child Bloom, Child Hyper Bloom. Neuvillette's going to sort of fill the same role there. You're going to be able to swap him in and out and drop these giant Equitable Judgment Kamehameha wave beams in Bloom, Hyper Bloom, Electro Charge, whatever it is you want to do, you can do that there. Characters like Kazuha, Venti, Sucrose are fantastic animal characters to further increase your damage, whereas other characters like Fischl and Yaimiko are very powerful electro characters in tandem with Neuvillette. Mona actually here can help you do bonus damage, not only with her burst and help you focus enemies with her taunting elemental skill, but she also is actually a Hydro character, and you'll get that Hydro resonance for additional HP, which will further slightly increase the damage of your Neuvillette. One other thing you might want to think of is a strong shielding character, someone like Zhongli, to not only shield your Neuvillette and prevent knockback that he doesn't have access to at Constellation 0, while also resist shredding their water resistance with his very powerful Zongdong shield. Someone else like Layla can do something similar and also open up some very nice freeze teams. If you're feeling spicy, you can add some Dendro characters to this mix with Nahida, the Dendro Traveler, someone even like Koli. This is going to allow you to do either a Bloom team or a Hyper Bloom team. For a Hyper Bloom team, we have the EM build for Raiden Shogun, offering up both damage as well as proccing those Hyper Blooms. We also have Kuki Shinobu, who can further increase the healing capabilities of your team while also proccing Hyper Bloom in your Bloom team. But if you want to go full Bloom, you can even compare him with someone like Nilou, because he is making these source water droplets, and these source water droplets are going to heal you a very significant amount. So pair Neuvillette with Nilou and then pick two core Dendro characters of your choice. Dendro Traveler comes up again with Nahida or Koli. You can even use someone like Baizu, Kiara, or Yao Yao in a full Bloom team. As Neuvillette happens to be a Hydro character, there's a ton of things that you can do with him, as Hydro is, well, the best element in Genshin Impact. So these are just some team ideas for you to try out. If you want to see more stuff on the channel, more guides in the future, Hu Tao's coming back as well, make sure you check this out and drop a sub here. I'll be happy to see you there, and I'll see you in the next one.